Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've got some more news in Palantir. Let's go to dailypalantir.com, the website that I started. You guys can definitely check it out. Palantir and Ferrari had a partnership a while back, and this partnership was really interesting. Why was it interesting? Because to me, it was like one of the most iconic car brands in the world, car manufacturers in the world. The most sleekest designs. I mean, like, everyone wanted a Ferrari when they were young. I don't care about a Ferrari anymore. I don't have car dreams or Lambo dreams. But, you know, I think we all had them when we were little. Some of you may still have them now. And Palantir, one of the most important software technology companies in the world, partnering together with this car brand. Well, what happened over the weekend? Something really cool. Charles Leclerc and teammate Carlos Sainz, I'm definitely saying that wrong, I'm sorry, ended up winning first and second place using Ferrari cars to get the job done in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, what is the Bahrain Grand Prix? I'm going to be very honest. I had no idea what it was. I am not a car dude. I've never been into cars, never been into F1, never been into NASCAR. Again, as I said in the beginning, I never was into cars. I was never super excited about them, so I never got into, like, what Formula 1 racing and all this stuff kind of is. So the Bahrain Grand Prix is basically this Formula 1 motor racing event that happens in Bahrain. I believe this happens in the Middle East. And it's a pretty big event. I mean, like, it is, you got sponsors, you got brands, you got, like, really, really a lot of people trying to get in the action, in the attention in which this goes down. Well, there are certain cars that compete. There's Mercedes that competes. There's Ferraris that compete. And Ferrari is a company that wants to be able to make sure that their cars win in these races. Not only is it great branding, but it's like the nature of competition. Ferrari wants to make sure that they get the job done. Well, Ferrari secured a partnership with Palantir a couple of years ago, not only just to have their brand on the actual car, which is super important because then people know that it's sponsored by Palantir. They get a little bit more brand affiliation. That's always important for marketing. But the actual technology that Palantir creates with Ferrari. So let's read what Palantir says on their website, because this will give us a little bit of explanation of why Ferrari was able to win in one of the most hardest races in the world, using the actual technology that Palantir provides them. Formula 1 teams have extremely limited time to test their car on the track, in the wind tunnel, or with computer simulations, so it often comes down to race weekends, combining immense amounts of data with engineering expertise at speed. That's where Palantir comes in. Palantir allows Secudia, I'm saying this wrong, I'm just going to say Ferrari because I always say this wrong, Ferrari to ingest millions of data points, removing the time-consuming data cleaning and integration step and providing a structured, relatable framework, the ontology, for making consequential decisions. Again, the ontology is the operating system. It is the fundamental framework that any company, organization, or government is using to be able to interpret, make sense, and integrate all of their data in one place that leads you to understand how to do pattern recognition, how to do time series forecasts, and how to ultimately make a consequential decision that makes sense in the context of the data that you have. That is what the ontology is when Palantir talks about it, and there's a lot of use cases for it, as we can see from, you know, governments to companies to even Ferrari. Palantir's analytical tool allows Ferrari engineers to leverage this ontology, a digital twin of their data. We hear the term digital twin talked about many times by Palantir, which is like the simulation of their data, right? To create analyses, rapidly iterate on them, and adjust various axioms or modeling decisions. For those who don't know what the word axiom means, it kind of means like a truth, something you kind of strive up to. Let me look up the definition exactly. A statement or proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true. So it's like this thing that you believe to be true that you want to now establish. So they can adjust various truths or modeling decisions, which means if the certain truth of how their car is operating is in a different light and they're able to use data to adjust what that truth looks like, they can just make that adjustment, and that, you know, moves them forward. From part reliability, understanding a part's life cycle so it doesn't fail during a race, to determining which configuration will perform the best given on a given track, Palantir's technology draws the link between man, machine, and data. And that sentence right there was the really interesting part for me, that their technology is taking, okay, man, someone in the car, the machine, the intensity of that, like, machine that's trying to drive really quickly and beat other racers, you put them together, that's a hell of a lot to deal with. And then you've got data. Then you've got all this data in real time where you've got to make sense of and adjust to be able to understand how to get the car to be even faster, more effective, etc. All of those three things coming together at an intersection is what Palantir's ontology allows Ferrari to be able to do. The head of vehicle performance, Marco Adunro, said, in using Palantir, we have basically taken out all the complexity that lies around managing such a vast amount of data out of our hands. And we really focus our time on extracting value from the analyses that we run, focusing on the product that we develop. And this is what we've seen happen in a lot of different companies that have been able to use Palantir. They're taking out the complexity and the lies that lies around managing all that data, interpreting it, analyzing it, putting it into a system, doing all the forecasts, et cetera, et cetera. Palantir does all of that for them, and they get results. They get like a report, and that report says, this is good, this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is great, this is really bad. You got to do this, this, and then they adjust. And that's the nature of Palantir's product in a nutshell, right? And their ability to be able to give that to companies like Ferrari to be able to execute against that is what leads to major championships. Now, could these champions have won without Palantir? I don't know. Like, maybe they could have, maybe they couldn't. The point is, it doesn't matter. The fact that Ferrari trusted Palantir over any other data analytics platform to become a preferred partner with them to be able to help them analyze and manage data in the moment on these tracks is what's relevant, is what's important, and is sort of the key argument that is ultimately being made here. So one other thing I want to explain about the technology, Palantir integrates several types of Ferrari's data, such as sensor data from races, test simulations, or testing equipment, parts information, data from experiments and tests, but the key source is data from car sensors in the form of high-frequency time series. Time series is a special kind of data due to its complexity and scale. Thousands of sensors reading up to 1,000 times per second based upon how fast the car goes and when the car turns, etc. The complexity is due to its structure. Each of those data points is a part of a stream of sensor data, not an isolated observation, and engineers need extremely quick access to the most important data to keep costs under control, and they need it in the moment when it happens during a race in order to be able to actually make sense of what's going on right there. And that's pretty much it. That was sort of the article that I put out. You guys can check it out on dailypalantir.com. I'll leave it in the description. And that's kind of the partnership explained. Now, what does this mean for Palantir? I think it means two things. Number one, it proves that the brand integration with Ferrari was good. From a branding perspective, I really liked it. I think a lot of you guys really liked it. I mean, like Ferrari. Like, imagine Palantir is working with Lamborghini, right? Like, that's just, and Lamborghini is more of like it's not a car that really is done in races. It's more of just like a high-class style car. But, like, it's just cool to be associated with those things, right? And then in the world of social media and marketing, like, the more you're associated with these cool brands, the better it is long-term. So, like, number one, I think it was a great partnership, and the partnership ultimately starts to make sense with how they're working with them. Number two is the actual integration of their data and their technologies being utilized with Ferrari, and Ferrari is probably seeing value in it. It is very unlikely, in my opinion, and this is why Palantir's net dollar retention is at like 140%, which means not only are they retaining customers, but their customers are buying more of them, which is how you get over 100% when it comes to being able to monetize the existing clients that they have. Do you think Ferrari is going to leave Palantir now? After winning first and second, not just first, but first and second at the biggest F1 Formula One racing event of the year, it is very unlikely that they decide to leave Palantir, because they're probably going to be working with Palantir now, because why would they use anyone else if Palantir was able to get them a championship if their technology was crucial? And it seems like, based on the integration and the partnerships and everything that I've read about the technology, the partnership is crucial and integral in order for Ferrari to be as effective as possible. If that's the case, this is a sticky product. Ferrari's not leaving. Ferrari's not going to use Snowflake, right? And this is also the difference between, like, what's the difference between Snowflake and Palantir? Snowflake doesn't do this. Like, Snowflake is not optimizing your data through time series forecasts, creating an ontology to be able to get you to win championships. Snowflake is like having a data warehouse that like hosts your data and is out of the box software and is super efficient, super productive, great business, but it's not doing what Palantir is doing. And I think that's why ultimately I get bullish from a growth perspective on Palantir. And I just don't think Ferrari is going to leave, just like I don't think the UK is going to leave now that the Palantir has saved the NHS tons of time and tons of money. I don't think other companies are going to leave. I don't think BP is going to leave them. I don't think all the case studies we've seen, they're going to remain sticky. None of the SPACs are necessarily going to leave, because if those SPACs are building out their products using Palantir's Foundry, then it's very unlikely that they leave, which is why the net dollar retention ends up being high. So Ferrari wins first and second place at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Palantir was an integral part in making that happen due to their partnership. And I guess we will see in the future what happens and if Palantir partners with any other car brands. I think they are the exclusive partner of Ferrari, and Ferrari wouldn't want them to partner with any car brand. So it's probably not going to happen. DailyPalantir.com. Make sure to subscribe to it. Give you a newsletter every Thursday on the latest updates for Palantir. You guys probably will enjoy if you want curated Palantir content. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments below, and I will see you in the next one.